doing?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you.
I could get more chairs.
Yes, please. Two more. We might need to move up, if you don't mind.
No, it's fine.
I think we might need to move this way to accommodate the more chairs.
What is the honor?
I mean, give it a live feedback.
I can tell you what.
The sound is right.
Just for the space slash.
If she would like to join us, it's up to you, please. And your colleague from the ARC, the Independent Alliance Club, please. For what it is worth, that camera is broadcasting live on social media. So you're welcome to speak into that camera. Right. Michelle, can we get them to turn the music down?
I just asked you to do that.
Yeah. Do the introductions. Huh? Do you want Nell to do the introductions or yourself or? No. Okay. Nell, then can you do the introductions? You can start.
Okay, well, good morning everyone. We'll commence. Firstly, before we can go, thank you for making the time. And it's an important statement we're making today because it has to do with the future of our municipality. One thing that we share in common, and the Independent Alliance is here, ActionSA, and the African Independent Congress is here. And together with parties that are involved today, the people that were in coalition talks with us, like the ACDP, IFP and ATM. Currently the ATM and IFP are involved in the legislative meeting today, Pietermaritzburg. So they are there, but they're fully supportive of our motion of no confidence going forward. Before we go into the meeting, into the press conference, I'd like to introduce to you from the AIC, we have Mam Dudu, and we have Injez. Injeza is they are part of the provincial structure of the AIC. We have Michael Beaumont. Michael is our national chairperson for ActionSA. He's been delegated by Senate to proceed with to lead from our side, from ActionSA, the coalition talks. He's been part of it from the beginning. He flew down this morning to be part of the press conference. Then we have the Independent Alliance. We have the leader of the Independence Alliance locally, Kwame Plejo, that's here with Councillor Madlala. I always laugh when I try to pronounce his name, from the Independent Alliance, and we have other members also from Independent Alliance here. Okay, with that, I think we'll proceed. And there's myself, Nel Suraj, caucus leader locally for ActionSA.
All right. Good morning to everyone, and my greetings. Good morning, Sanbonani, Goeiemorgen. I would like to start by welcoming members of the media who are present with us today. I also understand that there are a number who are following the proceedings online, so I extend a virtual welcome to you as well. And a particularly warm greeting to the political parties who are with us today in person, as they've been introduced, as well as those who are with us in spirit. But most of all to the South Africans, and particularly the residents of KwaDukuza, who are following these proceedings from home. By way of context, in KwaDukuza, 51% of voters sought change in the November elections last year, and they voted for parties like the DA, ActionSA, the IFP, the Independent Alliance, the EFF, the ACDP, the ARC, and the ATM. They collectively constitute 30 seats in a 59-seat council. 49% of voters voted for things to remain the same under the ANC, and they have 29 seats in council. So it is accurate to say the majority of residents in KwaDukuza have sought change in their municipality. But they did not trust any one single political party to make that happen. Rather, they put together an arrangement that requires parties to work together and to collaborate with one another in order to make this happen. For this, they expect us to work together as political parties to find solutions to the problems that they live with. And they expect us to work together because no single political party in their eyes has a monopoly on the solutions that are required, but rather need to work together to bring different solutions to the table to deal with the complex service delivery problems of this municipality. And KwaDukuza as a municipality represents a very big, important picture for us in South Africa, because what has happened in KwaDukuza with the ANC coming under a 50% majority is symbolic of what is happening in provinces around South Africa. The voters expect political parties to use their votes to work together, and they most certainly do not expect political parties to betray that trust by fighting one another when in the elections the promise was to fight the ANC. ActionSA is abundantly clear, as I believe are the political parties who are with us today in person and in support and spirit, is 100% committed to the project of removing the ANC and replacing failed ANC governments with multi-party coalitions. We recognize that we have a duty to the voters who voted for change in these municipalities to work together and put aside any differences we may have with one another so that we can bring service delivery to the benefit of all of the residents of this municipality. But this is precisely why it is necessary for ActionSA to call out a level of dishonesty that took place yesterday in a press release from the Democratic Alliance, in which the Democratic Alliance collapsed coalition talks. I want to repeat that. The Democratic Alliance collapsed coalition talks and proceeded to make a number of claims that were blatantly dishonest. We do not do this for the party petty political reasons that inform that press statement or to score points. It is actually the hope of every party here that the Democratic Alliance will see the error of their ways and return to the table so that collaboratively we can put together a coalition that serves the residents of this municipality. But it is necessary for us to say that the multi-party coalition meeting met yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. Its meeting continued till around 10 o'clock in the morning. At the conclusion of that meeting, the Democratic Alliance concluded to say that good progress had been made and that further talks were required to continue making progress. And the meeting was closed on that basis. 5 minutes later, a press statement, which had to have been written long before the start of that meeting, was released to the general public, which collapsed the coalition talks and blamed the collapse of those talks on ActionSA. And in blaming the collapse of those talks, the DA makes 3 claims that it is necessary for me to refute at this point in time. The first is that ActionSA is trying to bring the EFF into this coalition. That is not true. No political party here has sought for the EFF to be a coalition partner or signatories to an agreement. And for what it is worth, the EFF has made it abundantly clear that they do not want to be signatories to an agreement themselves. But what the DA did was pull together talks for a multi-party coalition that collectively has 26 seats in the municipal council when it is 30 seats that are required for any majority decision of the municipal council. And then what the DA proceeded to do was put in a clause in their coalition agreement that explicitly prohibited any coalition partner from engaging any other party outside of the coalition to get their support for items going to council. In other words, what the DA wants to happen is that the items going to council should be a game of Russian roulette. We should bring them to council and we should see what happens. And as I always recall from a university lecturer that stuck with me for many years, hope is not a strategy. We fear that that situation would have brought instability to the municipality of KwaDukuza, because when items are not approved in council, it is not just a piece of paper, it is the budget, it is the IDP, it is the bylaws of the municipality, and it is the service delivery program on which the residents are dependent that does not get approved. The second claim the DA makes is about budget interference, because ActionSA sought an inclusion in the coalition agreement that was supported by other political parties to say that the multi-party coalition should have a structure that provides formal feedback into the budget process to say what the service delivery priorities are of that municipality. But the budget is inherently a political process. The budget is the expression of an electoral outcome and the collective manifestos that gained a majority in an election. If a budget is not informed by the manifestos of change that are brought by a multi-party coalition, what is that budget being informed by? Because the reality is it'll be informed by a previous ANC government and officials who were appointed by a previous ANC government who will continue doing what they have done before. And you will have a multi-party coalition that is led by a group of parties and an administration that is continuing ANC governance at the expense of the residents. And the final point that we were bizarrely accused of was this notion of cadre deployment. Because ActionSA asked for a provision in the coalition agreement which says that the multi-party coalition must be consulted on the vacancies that exist for senior managers in the municipality, the progress that is being made to fill those vacancies, as well as the individuals who are being nominated to be appointed by the municipal council. And it is precisely there that I would like to make the following point. Senior managers are appointed by the municipal council, by councillors. It is a political process by nature. That is why the council makes those appointments. It is entirely necessary for the multi-party coalition to be seized by the question, do we have the right senior managers? Are they experienced enough? Are they skilled enough? Are they diverse enough to reflect the South African people? And are they aligned to the change agenda we want to bring to this municipality? Asking those questions is not cadre deployment. Asking those questions is just good governance. And now you might ask yourself why it is that the DA has employed this approach. And I would like to venture that the DA has employed approach to this coalition to frustrate coalition talks. Coalition talks began on the 27th of June, and since then there have been 3 meetings, and only 3 meetings. At each of those meetings, the DA has employed a different negotiator, which is not what you do when you want there to be continuity and progress. And at times, as much as 16 days have been allowed to pass between meetings. A motion of no confidence that ActionSA has brought had to be delayed by a month. And once again, we find ourselves with a motion of no confidence this coming Thursday, and a situation where the multi-party coalition has been put into disarray by the DA's collapse of talks yesterday. I think it is also necessary to say that this is not the first time this has happened. And one of the reasons why ActionSA has sought me to be involved in these talks is because I have seen what has taken place in places like Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni, where talks were collapsed at the last minute prior to council meetings that put the coalition in disarray. And it was only by political parties who were able to put aside their anger about that and put the residents first and to prevent ANC government that the DA holds the executive mayoralties of those municipalities today. And for whose benefit were these coalition talks collapsed? Because it's not the residents, and it's certainly not the DA's core constituency either. I know that because we also get a lot of votes from the DA's core constituency. And I give you an example of the service delivery challenges that face this municipality today. Right now, this municipality is busy negotiating a change from Caesar Water as a private water provider to the municipality to the Alembe District Municipality, which is categorically stated as a disaster. That change is underway. You don't challenge that and reverse that in opposition. You do that in government. And that is the cost of the decision to collapse coalition talks. But of course, ActionSA and the other parties represented here today also have a lot of representation in communities that don't have water and that don't have electricity. And there's an opportunity to change that we cannot allow to go a-begging. So when you ask what is the way forward, what I would very much like to put forward by virtue of a discussion that we have had today is that hope is not lost for the residents of KwaDukuza. And I really would like to echo that. Even though what has happened is very negative, hope is not lost for the residents of KwaDukuza. Because this collective of political parties here today, along with others who are here with us in spirit, will continue the coalition talks that the DA has collapsed. And we will continue them to ensure, firstly, that a motion of no confidence is supported at the council meeting this coming Thursday, which has been tabled to remove the mayor, the deputy mayor, the speaker, and the chief whip. And we will not stop until those motions are voted for. And every political party in council will face the choice on that day, whether they stand with the ANC or whether they stand with the residents of KwaDukuza. Because actually, the decision is that simple. And the DA can face that decision on Thursday and show rather with their hands than their words where they stand for the people of this municipality. And beyond that, the political parties represented here today have met to say that we would like to continue coalition negotiations, and we would like to continue to invite other political parties, including the DA, to continue those coalition negotiations in the run-up to Thursday and beyond. And we will work tirelessly to ensure that the best alternative is put on the table that will serve the residents of KwaDukuza. From my side, thank you very much. What we would very much like at this time is for the colleagues from the different political parties to give expression to their own thoughts and ideas at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, Chairperson of ActionSA. Greetings to the audience in this house, media houses from different media houses in South Africa and KwaZulu-Natal, leaders from different political parties, AIC present here, and leaders from the Independent Alliance. Thank you so much, Michael, for offering us this moment. Well, what I can say is the confirmation of the support of the Independent Alliance in this motion tabled before KwaDukuza Municipality Council. We as the Independent Alliance, we are affirming that we will support the motion against the current mayor, deputy mayor, speaker, and chief whip of KwaDukuza Municipality without any fear. We have reasons behind this. The people of KwaDukuza made it clear on the 1st of November 2021 when they voted against the long-serving political party, which is the ANC, which failed the people of KwaDukuza and the Lembes for so many years. My leader here, Michael, mentioned the scenario of water. Caesar Water is the only service provider that gives the people of KwaDukuza a better service. And if now you are initiating to remove Caesar Water, to replace it with Ilembe, that is failing our people, not only yesterday, but for so many years, over 27 years. Sewage is flowing in every street in KwaDukuza Municipality, KwaMaphumulo, Indweto, and Mandeni. Our people live without water for almost like a month. If you go to KwaMaphumulo, you'll find that people of KwaMaphumulo are only getting one water tank in a week. Keeping such kind of a leadership in our society is not healthy. Now we are saying whether the motion was submitted by DA, ActionSA, whatsoever, the Independent Alliance will stand with that political party. The second thing that we need to affirm is we are not associating ourselves with ActionSA, DA, AIC, whoever. We are a political party with its own identity.
Yeah.
But what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. And we'll stand with that. So whoever was actually distancing him or herself with the motion, it is his or her choice. But we strongly believe that negotiations took place in a right pace, but at the end, it came as a surprise to find that some of our colleagues are actually distancing themselves from this motion. But we strongly believe that by come Thursday, all of us will be in the same page. Because I strongly believe that we were voted by the people of this municipality, which is KwaDukuza, who believed in us. We cannot now at this stage surprise our people to say that ANC is the best choice ever. ANC will never be the best choice to serve our people. It's either you're abstaining from from that motion on Thursday, or you are supporting directly the ANC. It is your choice. But the Independent Alliance will vote against the ANC and will not be feared about that. We left ANC in Kwamapumulo and supported IFP due to the fact that the Independent Alliance needs change. We cannot keep a leadership of the ANC in any municipality under Ilembe and everywhere where we have councillors in. Yet we can see continuous corruption, fruitless expenditure on a daily basis, and then tolerate to keep such people. Yeah. If there are any differences that we have as opposition bloc, we are appealing that in a period of 24 hours, we can be able to sit down and sort out our challenges. It is not time where we need to disappoint our voters. It is about time we show our voters that the oppositions in South Africa can work for a better tomorrow. Yeah. We cannot at this stage, yet we are still waiting for 2024, where there are so many chances that in KwaZulu-Natal, this province can be led by oppositions working together for better. And even our country can be led by oppositions. If we're not showing our people now that we can work better, how are we expecting our people to trust us? The Independent Alliance can confirm now, media houses, that on Thursday we'll be supporting the motion. Not because it is submitted by the ActionSA, but we'll be supporting a motion that is submitted to KwaDukuza municipality, irregardless of who actually submitted the motion. Yeah. So we are supporting the motion. We want to remove ANC. We don't want to keep ANC into power. Yeah. We don't want to see our brothers who have degrees, diplomas, sitting at home. Yet people who are actually girlfriends, friends of the ANC leaders are getting employed in KwaDukuza municipality. Yeah. KwaDukuza municipality only employs people associated with the ANC, as well as Ilembe. If you go to Ilembe, early in the morning, you'll see buses coming from eThekwini, transporting people to come to work in Ilembe municipality. Same applies in KwaDukuza municipality. We recently, as the Independent Alliance, made a call to the MM and the mayor, the current mayor that we want to remove, to say that you cannot have a municipality whereby people are not advertising any post, but they go straight to their homes and pull them to come and work at KwaDukuza municipality. We recently have people who are employed in that form. There are no advertisements. They will just go straight to their homes and employ people without following the proper procedures. So, no situation that can force us to work with the ANC. We cannot work with the ANC. We will work with the opposition bloc to ensure that we are removing ANC. On Thursday, we are removing ANC, whether being assisted by ANC councillors or from the opposition bloc. But our faith is that on Thursday, we are removing the ANC. And we are hoping that everyone from KwaDukuza municipality will come out in numbers to show their support behind all the oppositions, irregardless of where you're coming from. You can come from the DA side, ActionSA side, Independent Alliance side, but on Thursday, I am appealing that let us all come out and support those councillors who will be voting against the ANC. I thank you.
Okay. Ngibingelele usihlalo we-ActionSA ubona bonke abeyindaba abakhona namhlanje Independence Alliance ngale nabo bonke abahlonishwa abakhona. Si-African Independence Congress sithasisho ukuthi kule motion of no confidence yangolwesine sihambisana nayo futhi ke kuzona zonke izinto ezenzekile KwaDukuza ukhombisile ukuthi ibusiness amakhosi endaweni zamakhosi amasonto nabo bonke abantu bakwaDukuza bakuvezile lokho ngokwezibalo eziphumile okhethweni ukuthi balifuna ushintsho. So ngalezo izathu ke ezinjalo iAfrican Independence Congress ithi ayihambisane noshintsho olufanele lenzeke KwaDukuza ukuze abantu abakwaDukuza ukumphakathi wakwaDukuza uthole izidingo lezi abazidingayo ekutheni mesiphuma siyama political parties ahlukene siya kubantu bavotela lezo zinto esifike nazo kubona sithi ke asihlale kulento yokuthi ke si African Independence Congress sikugcwalise lokho esasiyile kubantu ukuthi sizibandakanye nama opposition ekutheni kwenzeke uhulumeni ofunwa ngabantu kwaDukuza ngokwezingxoxo eziyaphambili ke okunye kusethusile ke okuvele kwimedia kodwa sizoncika ukona sizancika kulento efunwa ngabantu abavota ngalosuku lokuvota bathi akube khona ithuba lokuthi namaqembu amancane uphathe umkhandlu wakaDukuza. Ngokwesimo esinjalo sithi ke si-African Independence Congress sizayisupporta i-motion of no confidence ngolwesine ngaphandle kokungabaza sinikeze ithuba abantu bakwaDukuza ukuthi bathole uhulumeni ongcono nokulethwa kwezidingo zabantu. Ukhuculule lela dolobha elingcole kakhulu elibonakala ukuthi lona eliwe kakhulu ngaphansi kwelembe zibuye zibuyiselwe izidingo zabantu kuhlonishwe indawo ezingenza amathuba emisebenzi njengoba sazi ukuthi ke umnotho wala kule ndawo engaphansi kwelembe uncike kwezolimo uncike kakhulu kwezokuvakasha nezinto ezifana nalezo. Ngalezo izathu ke sithi abantu abanikezwe ithuba lokuthi kwakheke imisebenzi kwakheka komsebenzi kuzaxosha ikati eziko kwenza abantu bacabange kangcono kube khona ukubambana. Ngakho ke njengoba sitholile ke singamaqembu ahlukene isupport from kwi-business sayithola kwezamabandla emakhosini sithi asigcwalisele kuloko ukuthi kuyaphambili senze into efunwa ngabantu sihlangene so isupporta i-motion of no confidence ngolwesine.
Thank you very much. I think from our side that's what we really wanted to say here today, but we would be more than happy to field questions from members of the media who are present in person or online. Sam, can I ask you to facilitate?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, please raise your hand and let me know who you direct the question to and which media house you're from. And those that come through online, Michael, I will field on their behalf.
James from the North Coast Courier, welcome to Michael. Thanks for coming. I wonder if you could explain to me what the situation currently with the EFF is. As I understand it from your speech, you're saying that they won't be party to coalition agreements. How then are you seeking them to be party to the item on Thursday?
Sure. So the simple truth is that the multi-party coalition and the EFF both share the view that the EFF should not be coalition partners. And I think that view is premised on the idea that there are big differences of ideology that make it very difficult for such to happen. But what I am informed by the councillors present here today, and perhaps they should speak to this in a moment because I'm not from this area or a councillor for that matter, is that the EFF has communicated to everyone here that they want the ANC gone and they are willing to support whomever the multi-party coalition puts up. Because actually, before these multi-party coalition talks began, what existed in KwaDukuza was a group of councillors that worked together very well. And that has been put into disarray by the collapse of coalition talks yesterday. But it remains the case that there are now a majority of councillors in KwaDukuza, if the DA is on board, that are able to remove the ANC. The bottom line, though, is that to run an effective government, you have to be able to consult. You have to be able to say to a political party that their residents enjoy the right to service delivery as much as ours. And when a budget is prepared, the service delivery priorities that address the service delivery needs of their community should be included in that budget just like anyone else's, because no one voter is more entitled to service delivery than another. And that is the approach that has to be taken, a pragmatic approach to service delivery that ensures that a coalition government succeeds. And ultimately, when you remove all the political posturing, it is the view of this group of parties, I believe, that the residents want that kind of pragmatic approach. Because residents are less concerned about what configuration of parties delivers the service than they are about the need to have that service delivered. And I think that's the most important point we want to see in a coalition government that serves the residents in KwaDukuza.
Any other questions?
Russell Jacob, Independent Social Media. Good to see you again, Michael. Thanks for your efforts, people. We appreciate it. Thursday is a crucial day. Will the collapse of the coalition have a bearing on Thursday, or could Thursday still go ahead and we still vote out the ANC regardless of the coalition?
I think, Russell, and thank you, it's very good to see you again as well. I think your question has to be directed at the DA, to be frank, because what you see before you is a grouping of political parties that are saying, we will support this motion. What I also believe, and they must speak for themselves too, is that political parties who couldn't be here today, like the IFP, like the ATM, and like the ACDP, appear to be committed to supporting this motion as well. We know that the EFF has communicated that they will support the motion. So the only party that can answer the question of what will happen on Thursday is effectively the DA. If the DA comes to that motion and supports the motion, then the ANC government will be removed categorically, and there will be a vote to replace that ANC government. If the DA come to that meeting and fold their hands, or they don't come to the meeting at all, they will ensure that the ANC government continues in KwaDukuza. And the reason why I phrase it that way is not a mistake. It is actually to say that when you allow the ANC to govern, either because of your support or your inaction, you must be culpable for everything that goes on thereafter. Every cent that gets stolen through corruption, every failed service delivery, everything that happens from that moment on, that will be borne upon the parties that keep the ANC in power. And they will have to answer for that in the next election. So I say it remains the DA's choice.